don't want any family member to have a choice on whether to work. Every one of them needs to go to work. I will not take that incentive from them. But you applied it, I think, one of your sons who wanted a car, right?
Right.
And he was bitter that you wouldn't buy him one. But did you instill that early on, or was that just the way? Did they grow up, in other words, wanting for stuff?
We grew up, you know, the hardest thing to do is not to do for your kids. That's very hard to do, but it's not healthy for you to do this. But I don't think my son was bitter. We helped him out. You raise $1, we'll give you $1. So sometimes we have incentive to have our children work. But to hand them
the wrong car for Oklahoma winters.
Oh, exactly. It was, yeah, it was definitely the wrong car.
Yeah, a railroad driver would not work there. But you also talk a little bit about what you value to be a rich life. And I thought this is what was most profound in your book. The list you would draw to have a meaningful life, to have a great marriage, to raise children who are serving God, to be successful in business, to see our grandchildren, even our great-grandchildren, serve God, to use our resources to tell as many people about Christ as we can. Now, yet, you tell that to many in the mainstream media, they wince at that.
That's okay. I'm very comfortable where I am and what I believe. I believe in God's Word, and I believe this country needs to get back to in God we trust, as we started. And that's one of the reasons why we're putting a 430,000 square foot Bible museum in Washington, D.C. It's going to be a state-of-the-art because we believe it's God's Word that guides us and gives us foundation. And without God's Word, we don't think we have.
Where is it going to be in?
It's going to be a couple blocks off of the main artery, what do we call it, the mall.
Oh,
so it's very.
Put it right in the Capitol.
It's 5 blocks from the Capitol.
Is that right?
So it's, yes, we're really excited. It's going to open November the 17th. So our whole family feel like that our basis for what we believe is in the Scriptures. So that gives us a solid rock, so to speak, to build our feet on, and we can build on God's Word.
Now, you started this with $600.
$600.
And a dream. You realized at a pretty young age you're pretty good at retail. You had a good sense of it. You pay your people very well, well over $15 an hour.
That's correct.
I think for part-time workers, close to $10.50.
Yes.
Do you think the government should do that? Do you think the government should have a $15 minimum?
If I had a $15 minimum, we would not today. Back in my day, we would not have 35,000 people working for $15.70. So I don't think the government should get involved to that level.
So it varies for different retailers.
Exactly.
So they should decide on this. Whatever retailer says, I don't think even the $7.25 minimum wage is good.
No, I would think, and that goes back to our values. Our value are people and family. And if you have values of people and family, you care how you pay them. So we care about their hours. So what can we do to value families and grow strong families that work for us? So that's very important to us.
What about the battle back and forth over the tax cut plan? The president wants to lower rates for everybody, including the rich like yourself. Do you think he should?
Well, I'm more concerned, I think, about the debt. I think I'm more concerned about that than the tax rates.
So if you had your druthers, you know, David Stockman is here before you, doesn't think it's a good idea? It's going to compound the deficits, make the debt a lot worse.
I sure can't see how that drop in the tax rates is going to add enough positive to overcome whatever debt that I think we're going to create.
So if you had your druthers, you were President of the United States, even though you said that just because you're a billionaire and Donald Trump's a billionaire, that qualifies you to be president, but you would not be cutting taxes right now.
I don't think I would be cutting taxes. There may be some different things that I might not give tax cuts on or deductions, but there may be some work to be done there.
Do you think the government has an obligation, your problems with the contraceptive part of the health care law, to provide health care?
I don't know that I know that. We feel like very strongly.
What do you think Jesus would do? Would Jesus require
I think Jesus would ask us to do that as Christians. As Christians, I'm going to provide it and have provided it before I was required to.
But there aren't so many giving and wonderful CEOs like you, right?
Well, and that's why we're putting the Bible. We want to influence people to see this book and what it says, and maybe we can influence people to care about families.
Okay.
Because I think that's the beginning of where our nation fails, is at the marriage level and the family level, and that's what we would like to spend time and effort on.
In the meantime, you have a list, apparently, of people you think could run the company if, God forbid, something happened to you. Are your kids on that list?
They're not on the short list.
Really?
Because my two sons both are involved full-time in ministry, so they know that that's more important than Hobby Lobby. But I have some younger ones coming up that could be on there at a later time.
Grandkids, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren down the road?
I have, well, hopefully, but maybe not in my lifetime. But I have 11 great-grandkids, and they're coming on pretty fast. So we're excited about what we're trying to do to hand down our values to our kids and our grandkids.
No, you've done it. And agree or disagree, you stick to those principles, giving it all away and getting it all back again, the way of living generously. David Green, the author of that book, the man who took on the President of the United States and a law that was supposedly unchallengeable. Some forces were at work there because he won.